What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're gonna be going over talking about our best shooting guards right now in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM and ranking them on a tier list. Now, as we do dive into this thing today, I included basically all of the recent shooting guards that are actually important in the games. Like even some of the amethysts that I think are decent, like the Kawhi Leonard was included in this list. Or if you're, a really good shooting guard from the past, like even a Franz Wagner, but like Pink Diamond Dr. J is on here, all of those types of guys. Now, as again, we do dive into these things. I really do appreciate all of the recent support on the channel. Starting off with Kyle Korver. I'm going to be honest. I don't see, and this is my opinion, I don't see what everybody else sees in Kyle Korver. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying Kyle Korver is horrible. I'm not. I think the card is okay. I'm just personally saying that I don't see what other people see. Like everybody else gasses Kyle Korver as being like this, best shooter in the game. And I struggle greening consistent shots with Kyle Korver. So it's really tough for me to sit up here and be like, yeah, Kyle Korver is just the real deal, when I honestly struggle a ton with him. Like, I just do. So that's, I guess, where I'm at with Korver. I just don't see what everybody else sees in the card. And am I saying that you guys are wrong? No. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm not good with Kyle Korver. But that's where I'm at. To me, he is in a C tier. Again, not hating on the card, but that's where I've got Kyle Korver. Pink Diamond Dr. J is still S tier. And I know people aren't going to like the fact that I've got him at S tier, but honestly, I got three words for you. I don't care. Dr. J is the real deal. He's 6'7". He's got the best release on the game. He plays good defense. If you don't like Dr. J, I think it's more of a you problem than a me problem. I mean, Dr. J is objectively that man in this game. And if you don't think so, again, I think you're to blame and I'm not to blame. And again, obviously I'm the one making this list, so that's how I should feel. But I've played against Dr. J. I've used Dr. J enough to believe he is that S tier still to this day. Jaylen Brown at this stage, I'm going to go C tier right there with Kyle Korver. And again, I've got Kyle Korver, so don't sit up there and be like, Ty, you're just hating because you don't, whatever. I've got Kyle Korver. Jaylen Brown, his release is just too slow. And he just doesn't give you a whole ton else on the floor. Like, if Jaylen Brown came with, the best dribble sigs or, the 6'10 frame, like something different maybe, but he's a 6'6 shooting guard with not a great release, C tier. Jimmy Butler, better. I'm going to go B tier with Jimmy, or A tier with Jimmy. I think he gives you enough over a guy like Jaylen Brown to go A tier. Maybe I should be higher on Korver and Jaylen Brown. But remember, these are the best shooting guards in the game. For Jimmy, 6'7", going to be better defensively than Jaylen Brown. And honestly, his offense is going to be better as well. So if you're wondering, well, Ty, why are you really hyping up the card? Well, it's really relatively simple when you break it down like that. Jimmy's taller. Jimmy's better defensively. Jimmy's better offensively. It's really no question. Pink Diamond Scottie Pippen, B tier. I don't understand why Scottie Pippen ever gets hate. I just don't understand it. If you're comparing him to, let's say, like Jaylen Brown, who, again, Jaylen Brown is a galaxy opal in this game. Jaylen Brown, honestly, does a lot of things well on the court. Scottie Pippen's taller, 6'8". Scottie Pippen's got a better release. Scottie Pippen's got a good leaner. I don't see why people hate on Scottie Pippen. It doesn't make sense. He is B tier. Jerry Sloan, interesting card. I'm going to go C tier. He's not necessarily, how do I want to phrase this? He's got a Pro 2 leaner. Honestly, is he better than Korver, though? He's not. Like, objectively, he's not. D tier for Jerry Sloan. I'm sorry, but that's where you belong. Ricky Davis, F tier. And it's sad because we have had some really good Ricky Davis cards in the past. But this is the card we've got currently, and I hate to say it like this. Simply put, he's not good. F tier. Next up, Jim Jackson. I'm going to go B tier. I like Jim Jackson, and if you've never used Jim Jackson, just go shoot with the card. I mean, his release is absolutely incredible. I'm going B tier because, again, his release is the real deal. Kelly Tripucka up next. I owe him an apology. I'm not going S tier with him. I'll go A tier with Kelly Tripucka. I might owe him an apology, and I'll admit it if I'm wrong, but I'm still not gonna go all the way up to S tier. He doesn't deserve that. He does deserve A tier, and I'll be willing to admit that for Kelly Tripucka, that A tier is probably the right spot. Paul George up next. And I don't care what anybody says, he is still S tier. These pink diamond cards can still play. And if I'm the only one that gasses them at the end of this video, on tier list, that's fine, because these cards can still play. Pink diamond Ryan Artest, A tier. He's on the verge of being S tier, but I still take Dr. J and Paul George over Ron Artest. They simply put just give you way more offense. Ami Kawhi. I think I gotta go D tier. And I'm not hating on Kawhi. I just think, he's a budget card, right? He only has 3 Hall of Famers. His defense is good, but the card is not perfect. D tier. Chris Middleton, C tier. Card's not great. John McLaughlin, F tier. The card stinks. And D tier, I know some people are gonna be like, Ty, how are you with, by the way, did y'all see the trade last night? The NBA is crazy. But I just don't see what everybody else sees, in that Ant card. In real life, yes, Ant's been hooping, but in this game, he is still at the D tier for me. I don't think, and I don't see how people can go any higher than D tier with Ant. Chris Morris up next. D tier. I like him for a budget card, but he's D tier. Herb Jones, F tier. I don't mind Herb Jones for budget options, but he's not on the Chris Morris Kawhi level. Allen Houston, is he C tier? I'm going to just be honest. I haven't used Allen Houston enough. I don't think he is. And I am going to move Ant up to C tier, because he definitely does belong there. I was gassing it by putting him at D tier, but I just don't love Ant. And as far as Allen Houston, like I said, I haven't used the card enough to really know. Bernard King, I know, is S tier. Bernard King, one of the best shooting guards in the game. You can start with his release. You could start with his dunking. There's a lot of things Bernard King does well on the court. S tier, really no questions asked, really no ifs, ands, or buts about it for me with Bernard King there. Easy addition there into that S tier. Grant Hill up next. I don't know for Grant Hill, because when I'm looking at these top cards, and Carlo is weird, because Carlo don't like Grant Hill, but all of a sudden he loves Jerry I don't know, he's just weird. I think Grant Hill is B tier though. And the reason I like Grant Hill over a guy like Jaylen Brown, because you can compare the cards. I think offensively, they both leave a lot to be desired. But Grant Hill is a lot longer on the floor, B tier. T-Mac up next. I'm going to throw... Dude, I don't know, because it's T-Mac gets slandered a lot for his release. And I get it, because ever since they I know he can't shoot with the stick, but I'm more worried about the contest patch. Ever since 2K contested or changed the contest system and contest register way more now than they used to, T-Mac has lost a lot of value. So I'm honestly gonna go B tier with Tracy McGrady, because they didn't update his SIGs. His animations, aren't that impressive. His release is slow. He is 6'8". That's the only thing he's got going for him, but I think that's where he belongs. Wesley Matthews, C tier, he's fine. Clyde Drexler, A tier. Clyde is S tier. What am I doing putting him at A tier? Clyde is S tier, and people argue, what is Clyde doing for you on the court? Well, he has an easy shot to green. He's 6'7". He's a Galaxy Hope. He plays a ton of defense. He is S tier. Kevin Martin up next. D tier, yikes. Mitch Richmond, B tier. Mitch is fine. Honestly, I'm going to go A tier for Mitch. Mitch is good. But the thing about it is you got to lock in all the MT for it. And that's the really big problem I have for Mitch Richmond. I honestly don't think the card is horrible. But when you're locking in all that MT for Mitch Richmond, that's where I draw the line. Lionel Simmons, D tier. Danny Green, C tier. I actually like Danny Green a lot. Manu Ginobili, D tier. He is a Galaxy Opal that I'm throwing at that D tier. I don't care. Anthony Edwards, it gives you more than Manu Ginobili. Manu is horrible, guys. His release stinks. He just doesn't do anything on the court for you. And maybe I'm gassing him by putting him a D tier. You guys can let me know. But if you're running Manu, all I can genuinely say, and don't think I'm trolling because I genuinely mean this, all I can say is I'm sorry. If you're running Manu Ginobili, I genuinely feel badly for you. And that's the way I feel, because he stinks. What is he doing? And why are you spending that much MT on a card that stinks on this game? It just doesn't make sense to me. Ray Allen stinks as well. I'll at least go C tier for Ray Allen, but don't think the card is good, because Ray Allen is absolutely horrible as well. So just don't think, oh, Ray Allen's good. No, he stinks. Dale Ellis, I have no idea. I've not used Dale Ellis this year. So I'm going to go D tier just because, again, I'm just going to go C tier because I have no idea for Dale Ellis. So you guys can let me know. DeMar DeRozan stinks. I'll go C tier. I still think he's better than Manu. But if you're a Galaxy Opal that I don't like, you're not going to go to a high tier. And hate me as much as you want. But that's where I'm at. How am I supposed to hype him up when I just don't like the card? It just doesn't make sense. Vince Carter up next. This one's tough. At this stage, is Vince Carter S tier? He is. I think he is because offensively speaking, and that's where I want to start. Offensively speaking, I don't know how much better it gets than Vince Carter at the 2. I just don't. Now, obviously, defensively, he's only 6'6". Obviously, defensively, he's not perfect. But the offensive end of the court, Vince is tough. Gordon Hayward, have the card. Mediocre. I'll go B tier. I just do not love Gordon Hayward. Is he better than Jaylen Brown? Man, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to leave him at B tier, but I really don't know about that. Darrell Griffith, D tier, not good. Caron Butler, I don't care as much as Carlo wants to gas him. He's not good, D tier. Jeff Malone, F tier. Joe Johnson, C tier. Joe Johnson is 6'7". It's just like his release is not good. And it's just like, do I have to move all these Galaxy Opals up? I think I do. At least some of them. I think I got to go like that. Just because, and again, I don't love Jaylen Brown, especially his offense. But I think with what he gives you defensively, you've got to put him at B tier, no? I think I've got to. And that's where I'm just going to live with. If you're, undersized like Ant or bad like Ray Allen DeRozan, you're not going to be high. Steve Smith's not horrible. I'm going to go C tier. I'll move Caron Butler up to C tier just because I moved some guys down. Manu, I guess I'll move you. No, I'm not. I'm leaving Manu there. This Ant is fine. Like, if you get the beginner level Ant, he is a fine card to use and to start your squad off. But eventually, you got to replace him. James Jones is going to shoot lights out. James Jones has a good jump shot. James Jones is really poor defensively. And badge-wise, they hold the card. I wish I could be higher on James Jones, but that's where he's at. This Dominique Wilkins stinks. I'm going F tier. Dark Matter MJ. Here's the moment of truth, guys. And honestly, I just want to have a talk about MJ. Michael Jordan is good, okay? So if you're sitting there and you've got Michael Jordan and you're like, Ty, you better put him in S tier. Look, objectively, Michael Jordan is probably an S tier shooting guard on this list. But I want to make something very clear to you guys. He's not better than Dr. J. He's not better than Paul George. He's not better than Bernard King. Now, if you think he's better than Vince, that's fine. I think Vince is way better offensively. If you think he's better than Clyde, that's fine. But no Clyde's taller. No Clyde's release is smooth too. So I'm just telling you, MJ is not a top 3 shooting guard on this list. Franz Wagner, and here's where things get difficult. I got to go A tier. But I'm not even convinced that Michael Jordan is better than Franz Wagner. I'm not convinced of it. I'm not. So, just know that. Ludor, D tier at this stage. I don't think he's bad. Dark Matter, Dr. J, the best shooting guard in the game. Klay Thompson, B tier, he's fine. Dark Matter, Scottie Pippen, S tier as well. And so I'm just going to briefly rank my S tier because I think it's important for me to do. I'm going to go something along these lines at S tier. Like I said, Michael Jordan's not a top 5 shooting guard. You can cry me a river. That is going to wrap it up for our tier list today. You guys can let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.